guys, hope you're well and welcome to my review of this brand new single from the Gorillaz called the Manifesto. This is a grand 7-minute track featuring trueno and proof with some grand instrumentation. It's got brass instruments, it's got a choir in the background. It continues down the influence of Indian instrumentation as well as blending some Latin rap as well as hip hop into this track. And I'll be honest, I am a huge fan of this track. It sounds absolutely stellar. It is just brilliant from start to finish. It keeps you captivated. And it features trueno, which a lot of people haven't actually heard before, but they are one of the biggest Latin American rap stars out there. They're also supporting Gorillaz in their tour next year across the UK. And to be honest, although I don't understand the lyrics because, I don't speak Spanish, it really flows nicely throughout the whole track and it really keeps you hooked. The refrain especially is really catchy and it just stays stuck in your head despite you potentially not knowing the lyrics. I feel like you can still hum along to the melody, and like I said, the flow is just absolutely fire. I've got to give credit to trueno here. Well done. Loosely translated, the verses discuss themes of spirituality and staying true to one's values, but it also embraces life and death with peace instead of fear, which I think is a common theme throughout this upcoming album. It also features 2D's lines about not losing oneself, and it sort of depicts this metaphor for the mountain as a picture of ambition and success. I've got to admit, it is sometimes more tricky to get into a song that you don't fully understand, but I do think that here it perfectly blends different diversities and cultures. It's got English vocals and themes from Gorillaz, as well as the Detroit rapper Proof coming in later into the verse in the switch up during the second half of this song. And obviously it's got that Latin American influence from trueno as well, and altogether it blends really well into this really cohesive and engaging track. It is nice that we continue to get 2D's vocals in this track, so it's not going to be like Humans where it's got lots of collaborators and you don't really see 2D's vocals shining throughout the songs. So in the first section of the song, it's really catchy, you're sort of bobbing along, it's got a really catchy hook, it's got a great beat throughout. The song starts with a nice choir of instrumentation and vocals to sort of raise the atmosphere on the song. It's kind of similar to the last single, Happy Dictator, where it sort of builds up the song before giving you a really catchy hook. So when I first saw that the song was 7 minutes, I was kind of surprised because the start of the song was really good, but I couldn't quite envision how it would continue that same sort of momentum throughout the song. But that's when there was a switch up halfway through, and like 4 or so minutes into the song, you have this sort of fade out and then it builds it back up. And then all of a sudden, Proof's vocals come through. He starts off with that maniacal laughter before just exploding into this absolute fire verse, I must say. The late Proof had an unreleased recording which Gorillaz decided to include into this song, and it's full of gritty and raw and honest emotions. Compared to trueno and 2D's lines, this is sort of a more honest and brutal depiction on reality with some absolutely amazing lines and just a great flow throughout the whole minute that Proof raps here, which just sounds amazing. You have some really great lines, one of my favorites being, "You can't convince the invincible to be sensible," which is just, again, a harsh reality that we must accept. And it almost sounds like Proof is ready to continue rapping, like he's got loads of bars up his sleeve, but then he decides, let's just continue the song, and the production just really keeps you hooked and engaged. I really love this part of the song, especially with all those background vocals and the brass instruments just elevating the melody. It just all sounds brilliant, to be honest. And just when you feel like it's done and it's sort of starting to fade out, trueno comes back with another verse and another refrain as well, another chorus. and it just sounds brilliant. It keeps you hooked, and I think that's why this song doesn't feel like 7 minutes long. It sort of goes by really quickly. I think because they blend what feels like 2 or 3 songs into one. The fantastic and creative, cohesive production here really keeps you engaged throughout these 7 minutes, and I'm really glad they decided to put this into one grand song instead of separating these concepts out into shorter tracks, because I feel like they wouldn't have had as much of an impact otherwise. The song ends beautifully with 2D's vocals repeating over and over until it fades out, and it sort of leaves you with that feeling of this harsh reality that they're trying to portray throughout this song. But I do think this song does feel like a declaration of one's beliefs, and I think that will link to this overall concept of the mountain as well. So yeah guys, look, I really love this song. I've listened to it about a dozen times already, despite it being 7 minutes long. I just can't get it out of my head, despite me not fully understanding all the lyrics. The flow of the bars are just absolutely fire, and Prue's vocals are just really gritty and just really hit the nail on the head, as well as 2D's vocals just sounding great as always. Really morphs this track into a fantastic concept. Honestly, this might be one of Gorillaz' best songs since Plastic Beach. You know, obviously there's the argument that songs like New Gold and Momentary Bliss, as well as Humility, those are also up there, but I do think this song gives all of those other songs a run for their money. So far we're 2 singles in, with the album still 5 or 6 months away, but honestly, I do think I prefer the Manifesto over Happy Dictator, despite that song also being fantastic. But it really seems like we're on to a super solid Gorillaz album by the sounds of it. Like I said previously, I think the blend of diverse genres and different cultures and instrumentation from all over the world is what makes Gorillaz so successful, and that definitely comes to shine on this album by the sounds of it as well. And I do think we're going to get more of a sort of honest and diverse and unique sound in the other songs on the album as well, which makes me really excited. As for this single, The Manifesto, I absolutely love it. No flaws in my opinion. It's just fantastic from start to finish. It doesn't overstay its welcome despite its quite long length. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a perfect 10 out of 10. It might just end up being one of my favorite songs of the year, so it makes me really excited for this album. I'm not going to have my hopes up too high, because obviously there may be other songs on the album which don't quite reach the highs of these first 2 singles, but so far, so good. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this brand new single, The Manifesto by Gorillaz, featuring Trueno and Proof. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this track. I personally really loved it, and it's still stuck in my head today. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. Leave a comment below what you thought of the track, and I'll see you guys in the next video.